What's up, YouTube? Extra Time, June 24th, 2019. A big show for you today, and we're feeling good, Dave. We're feeling real good because the
U.S. men's national team already into the knockout rounds. The women's national team headed to the quarterfinals. Like, all right, it's been a long 2-3 years. Let's take our moment.
The sun is shining, and yeah, we're pushing forward. Maybe quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. We'll see. But MLS is back, Kalen, and the All-Star team is out.
Yeah, All-Star is out. I'm very excited. Mark Anthony Kaye, the people's choice. The players vote. I don't think they voted, but
They didn't.
still, we're happy for him.
James O'Connor's choice because he made that decision, and we had one good story at the end.
Wasn't really a story. It was just some good life advice. What Athletes Eat by Kalen Carr.
Do
Extra
not
time
try this at home.
starts now. Oh, from New York, you are listening to Extra Time, driven by Continental from the AT&T MLS studios in Midtown Manhattan. I am Andrew Wiebe with my partners in soccer, Matt Doyle, David Goss, and the extremely plainly dressed Kalen Carr. Welcome, boys. It's another edition of Extra Time. The U.S. are on to the quarterfinals, France and Paris. Canada probably playing right now. We should probably get that on the televisions or just all watch Dave's computer.
It starts in 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. Didn't know. Thought it was,
Relax.
post-game shows and the Women's World Cup rolls on. We have a big show today. MLS is back. A little bit of a truncated slate this week, but we're getting back to the real thing. The All-Star roster is out. We'll talk about that. Snubs and the like, who maybe doesn't belong there, that will be there. U.S. national team go ham in the Gold Cup against Trinidad and Tobago. Pump the brakes, you might say, or go crazy. I don't know. We'll see. I'm guessing you might pump the brakes, Doyle. Canada did their thing. Touchdown over Cuba. Mexico almost bottled it. Women's World Cup, U.S., they almost, I'm not going to say bottled it, but they had us a little nervous there. We were yelling at the TV.
Yeah, it wasn't the best performance they've ever put in, but it's a World Cup. It should be hard. It's a knockout in a World Cup. This is a good Spain team. They beat England. They've beaten the U.S. over the last few years. There is no plan B a lot of times with U.S. soccer. So in the first half, they're hitting a long ball. It works. Second half, Spain adjusts, and we keep hitting a long ball. Doesn't keep working, but the individual talent, I think, wins out.
A plan
France
B,
on Friday is going to be ridiculous.
A plan B would have been nice with the bench.
Yeah.
Using the bench.
You need the sub. You can use the sub before the 85th minute.
We got plan A, plan B. We didn't get to plan C until, 96 minutes in? Something like that?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, press came in with the last kick of the match, and you're like, well,
As
fresh legs could have helped at minimum.
As soon as Spain brought their lineup in the second half, as soon as they moved that block up and created space to play in behind, given how much Rapinoe was struggling, put Christian Press in. Why was that not? And then the even crazier one was Lindsay Orn coming in for the last 5 minutes when she's carrying a yellow.
They call that yellow card time.
Yeah.
People disagreeing with Jill Ellis. That's a normal
McDonald,
thing. But they are defending champions, and they're chasing it on. France on Friday in Paris. What a game that will be. Hope you have time at work. Hope you have a second screen. Hope you have an excuse. Go get some crutches.
3 p.m. on a Friday, at least East Coast. I think it's a summer Friday time.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you're leaving the office.
You're living a blessed life.
Yeah.
You got that.
I don't even work in an office. I don't even have a job. So, yeah.
Respect. Stay strong,
you know
guys.
who doesn't have a job?
Don't let the man
right
hold
now?
you down.
Anthony Hudson doesn't have a job. But he's got the best agent in the world. I'm looking. I may need his agent because BR Sports, Dean Jones, is saying that he could be the new Newcastle head coach. Rafa Benitez, I should say, is out. That's not good for DeAndre Yedlin or Miguel Almiron, but Anthony Hudson could get that job. So
that's good for Miguel Almiron.
Hey, maybe he was right all this time. He was talking about, well, this is a bottom group and all these things. And I was joking, being like, well, what does he think? Atlanta United is going to come and just offer him the job? And he's like, actually, he might go to the Premier
League. So what, is he going to just go back to the same old hits with Newcastle? Because that's not a bottom group.
They would be more excited about signing guys from the championship than we are.
Whoa.
Might work out for him.
Whoa. Woo. Boy. All right. Well, yeah, look around.
That was some spicy hummus, David.
That was some good. Yeah. All-Star Squad. It came out. Atletico Madrid. MLS All-Star Game presented by Target. It's going down on Wednesday, July 31st at Orlando City Stadium. Oh, they have a new name there, and I think we'll figure it out. I think they got naming rights. Anyway, this is from a long time ago. This is from when it was announced.
Are you on the naming rights subreddit? So how you?
I got alerts set up.
Okay.
Didn't remember.
A nice kit, by the way.
Didn't remember this
the new
time.
Orlando
Yeah, it is beautiful.
All-Star.
It is beautiful. And they play at Exploria Stadium.
Also, if you're a fan of Orlando City, I think myself and Bobby Warshaw will be down there for your Open Cup game. So
You'll be there
I believe so.
on site.
I believe so.
NYCFC, right?
I wasn't going to double down because I wasn't sure, but you've
Gotcha.
now pushed me on it. So, yeah.
Is that the matchup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kaylin, do you want to play in the game? Exploria Stadium.
Yeah, no, I just said that.
I found it.
Just you got that part. All right, look, here's
Already
the
got
squad.
an Open Cup ring.
Here's the squad. I mean, it's all the names that I think you would expect. Maybe the one big name that I don't see here is Darwin Quintero, and he had been more cold than hot as of late.
He hasn't scored in 2 months.
Yeah, well, Open Cup. Don't
Have you
count
been
out
watching the Open Cup?
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
This is the Open Cup All Stars.
It's the premier domestic competition in the United States. It's been around for a long time, Matt. Maybe you know something about
Did you know that it's the second oldest continuous running tournament in the world?
wow.
Behind what tournament?
The FA Cup, I
Yep.
believe. Yeah.
Those are the two oldest. Soccer history
See, Matt, you've
in
learned
America.
something. You've learned something. We had some good news for Paxton Pomykal stands. He got a commissioner's choice for this game, as did Nick Raimondo, and what we assume is his last go-round. Where is the third commissioner's choice for DeMarcus Beasley?
That's the big question.
What kind of injustice has been just...
Doyle, did the commissioner call you about Paxton to get your insight?
He did not, but if you watched him this weekend, he made the case. He was freaking awesome this weekend, and I think if you look at the splits with FC Dallas, that they have 7 wins this year. I think they're like 6-2-2 when he's in the lineup, and like 1-5-1 when he's not. And like correlation causality, but he was
53-47 here. You know,
53-47. Yeah. But he was really, really good. Like, I think he's been playing at an all-star level. Absolutely.
We're going to talk about him more because that midfield of Servania Cerrillo against Toronto FC, which not playing well right now, they bossed that. I want to know how this is going to go forward because maybe Guerrezo being sold. That's part of the rumor mill. The goalkeepers here, Andre Blake. He was a selection by James O'Connor. Brad Guzan was in the fan 11 from Atlanta United.
Hey.
Then, of course, Raimondo.
To decipher this roster between all the ways people get picked and all the little symbols, it's like full-on code breaking. Like, I'm impressed that you just did that. Literally, all 3 goalkeepers have a different insignia next to their name.
Here's how you know. It's the little star. The asterisk is James O'Connor.
Duh, naturally.
I don't know what it is. It's like a triangle without an underside.
Yeah.
That is the fan 11. And then the hashtag is Commissioner Dunn.
The real question here is no Wilfred Zahibo level picks this year.
Yeah.
Right? Like the biggest question is there's probably 2, right? Graham Zusi, who was voted in, and Pity Martinez.
Yeah. Graham Zusi on name and main, and look, people have habits. They're going to vote Zusi when they see that fan 11. That's how he got in.
People like hair.
They like Graham.
Yeah.
They like Graham. Has that been his best season? Just leave it at that. Pity Martinez, not been his best season.
Nope.
But Atlanta United fans are really, really, really good at voting. Apparently not good enough, though, to get Joseph Martinez in by the fan vote. But what are you going to do?
I was considering throwing Jonah out there as not the most deserving, but I'm okay with it.
Jonah's been really, really.
He has been.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm okay with it.
Okay. All
I've
right.
allowed it.
All right.
Back line, Matt
Marco?
Hedges, Kamar Lawrence, Roman Mettener, Leandro Gonzalez-Perez, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Walker Zimmerman, and Graham Zusi. I can think of a couple snubs back there. Jack Elliott. I would have put Miles Robinson, though, over Jack Elliott.
Miles Robinson wasn't eligible.
Yeah, well,
He
you
didn't
know
even-
what?
he didn't even make the
he
first cut.
wasn't for the fan 11, but he could have been chosen by James O'Connor. He could have been a commissioner pick.
What color are you wearing?
I'm wearing purple.
Cool.
But I'm just saying,
curious.
asterisk. Give him that asterisk. I'd be there for that one. Anybody else missing on the back line? I mean, I think Kamar is a good choice. Hedges he's had an okay season.
I mean, the truth is, you could have taken all of LAFC and put him back there.
Yeah.
Eddie Segura, maybe. Yeah. I guess he's a snub for sure. Latif Blessing is going to be a snub, so is Atuesta.
Atuesta was the name that jumped out for me.
But Mark Anthony Kaye got there.
Yeah.
That's maybe the best story on this roster. And there's some good stories. Diego Chirag was there for the first time ever.
No Valeri.
No Valeri, no Brian Fernandez. I thought Brian Fernandez up top. I mean,
Might get the Liam Ridgewell
hey,
honorary.
Yeah, you know, there's an
invite to
injury.
the,
Bring Brian Fernandez, man.
Oh yeah, that's the next part. Is
Right.
the next 15.
Yeah, the juggler. There's gonna. Oh boy, my hamstring.
Albert Elise.
Albert Elise is that's a good call there. I like that one.
No Houston Dynamo players.
No,
Again.
no Carlos Hill, which I guess Revs haven't been great, but
yeah.
he's been good. He's been good.
He's been all right, yeah.
I don't know if that's a snub. In the midfield, Barco, Jonathan Dos Santos, Mark Anthony Kaye, Ladero, Pity, Maxi Morales. Good choice there. I think Nani had to be there in Orlando. Paxton, Alejandro Pozuelo, Diego Rossi up top. Zlatan.
Can I throw a roll Don would be one for me. So
Okay. Joseph Martinez. The other thing here is they're going to come off Gold Cup.
Yeah.
You don't see a ton of Gold Cuppers here. So you don't see Josie hasn't played. So that makes sense, but you'd think they'd want Americans in a game like this, at least international. So Michael Bradley, you would normally think, but Pozuelo's there.
It's basically just Kamar, Kay, and Jonah that are Gold Cup, and Andre Blake. Yep. Are Gold Cup guys.
Wayne Rooney's here. Carlos Vela, yeah, he's here. Chris Wondolowski is there as well. He was a selection by James O'Connor.
I don't know about Vela. I don't know. He just
you know, I extrapolated.
I bet you there's someone. If we put it on Twitter, I bet you there's one person who will say it.
There's always
someone.
I don't think anybody's going to say that. I extrapolated at his numbers, like the pace that he's on, and obviously LAFC are on pace to just shatter all of the single records. Cracklitos has 16 and 10 in 16 games. And I know it's completely absurd. He's not going to do this. You would think, I
thought this was going to end by like early April.
Right. The record for combined goals and assists in Jovinko in 2015, the first year he was here, 38. If his pace kept up, he would go for 55 combined, 34 goals and 21 assists. If the pace kept up. I mean, that is completely ridiculous. That is 17 more, and I know it's ridiculous to even
it's like Messi.
say this is real, but I mean, maybe Bob Bradley was onto something there. He says all the great players in sports rewrite everything, and right now Carlos Vela is doing that. Anything else on the All-Star team? Anything you're excited for All-Star? Anything you're feeling you'd stump speech for at the game, like 5v5, little pickup with the All-Star?
I think shout out to Romain Métanire. He's been good this year. He's been fun to watch. Like, he gets forward. It's a fullback, but he's enjoyable to watch, and I think Minnesota deserved to have someone on there, so I thought that was a good pick. Otherwise, I guess just watching Chris Wondolowski knocking Carlos Vela across. However this is going to line up. In the end, maybe he plays under Zlatan and just gets knockdowns off Zlatan.
Do you not remember the game in Philly when I believe John Terry
of course I remember.
found Chris Wondolowski after the game and said, mate, your movement is...
It's a nightmare for me.
Yeah,
it's a nightmare.
Absolute peaches.
Yeah.
I don't think they have peaches in England.
Probably not.
That was at a time when then you jump on the message
fruit.
boards and everyone was like, Chris Wondolowski is a Premier League striker.
Yeah.
The U.S. is coming. Now we're like win 6-1 against 6-0 against Trinidad and Tobago. We're like, we suck.
Yeah, trash. All of them are trash.
Weeby, you mentioned Mark Anthony Kaye being the best story, and I still look at this in some ways from a player's perspective of the guys in the locker rooms are going to be excited to see make the All-Star team, because yes, the fan 11, a lot of times the biggest names, the biggest stars get chosen for this match, but this matters to a lot of guys to be able to get a chance to go be an MLS All-Star, and especially for the guys that often get overlooked. And Mark Anthony Kaye is a guy throughout his career that I think has had to grind to get to where he is. Was with Toronto FC, didn't find his way, got chosen through. Actually, I had a talk with Zach Abdel, who was coaching. He's the LAFC's assistant goalkeeper coach. And he spotted him at a Canada national team training and was like, hey, I think we need this guy. And I think that was partly one of the reasons why he came to LAFC. So for the guys, yes, we're going to have the big names and the big stars, but for the guys that aren't always getting the recognition, I think the guys in MLS are going to be happy to see names like that as well.
He also made his pro breakthrough playing under James O'Connor at Louisville. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
He had been a TFC2 guy for years.
TFC2, I met the coach who moved him into central midfield, which he then got moved back out of.
Right.
Who's that?
One of their youth coaches.
Okay.
But
Not going to give him any love?
No. Michael Stefano. Yeah.
and like Mark Anthony Kaye actually said
Shout out, Mike.
recently, I forgot where I saw this, because like the reason I didn't get signed by Toronto was because of my attitude. Because I thought that I like he stopped grinding. Like I thought I had the roster spot, and I'm pretty sure that like if I had just kept bringing it, I would still be there. So he got a wake up call, and like he has woken up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Talent is there.
Yeah, good for LAFC, good for Canada.
Toronto FC are like, why didn't we light a fire under him somehow?
That's been part of the process. I mean, Andrew Carleton's one of the easiest examples of like, this is one of the last big steps for MLS teams. Like, okay, now we're developing talent. Now we're getting them to a professional team. How do we then get them continue to be motivated and understand that they've not made it, to understand that USL Championship games and USL League One games matter, like all these little things. That's the last piece of the bridge that the Galaxy are trying to figure out.
It's a pretty good story here to use. Mark Anthony Kaye, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully he gets, payday big contract.
Yep.
He starts to move
He's
forward.
rolling up in a Range Rover that people will notice.
Did he?
That's right.
Did because I was pretty sure
I told
he was
you I've
joking
got-
about having a Toyota Camry recently, where he's like pulling up in the parking lot.
I told
and
you
he's like, "Woo, woo,
I want a
woo."
3,000-word essay on MLSsoccer.com talking about how Joseph Martinez driving a Maserati is the single biggest player development tool we can have. In this
Dude, motivation, man.
Wait,
I feel like that's a movement episode.
the best part about this was we went to, I want to say All-Star game training last year, but it may have been MLS Cup, and he wheels out in it, and then he hits the brakes and looks over as Kalen Carr walks by and goes, "What up?" and throw you a pound out the window. And I was like, Kalen might be the coolest person I know.
Yeah, even that story.
Don't
I'm
you forget
smiling.
that.
I'm smiling just
No, you know what
thinking
the
about
funny
that.
And
part is?
Kalen was just like, the movement.
No, he said he actually did say he watched the show.
I know.
And I was like, wait, what? Like, do you have a TV in the Maz? Like,
Just, yeah, the
He got his ride.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At stoplights, just like, hey, I'm watching the movement in here, guys. Don't worry about it. We're talking about players coming through, getting their opportunity, then taking it. We quickly hit Paxton Pomykal. But Pomykal, Servania Cerrillo in the midfield for Luchi Gonzalez in Dallas this weekend. Toronto didn't really stand a chance. I mean, Jesus Ferreira was really good in this game too, to assist Dambaji, unlock it, baby. But I want to ask you, Doyle, because since you're kind of driving this train, how would you manage Paxton's next year? Because you're talking about U.S. national team. I see all the highlight videos out there, the all touches, where people just like, look at this dude, win the ball in midfield, look at the passes, look at the like fluidity of motion and understanding of the game. But his next year is super important, not just U.S., but Dallas, his whole pro career. How would you do it?
I mean, I think you have to sit down with him and his family and his people and figure out what he wants. Because if he's dead set on getting to Europe as quickly as possible and then the right offer comes in, then okay. Like, even though it would hurt you for this season, like it's a business, and you have to do right by your team, and you have to do right by the players, and you have to do right by the whole process. I imagine it would have to be a pretty big offer. And the other thing is, like, he's a Dallas kid. Mm-hmm. He's wearing Bobby Ryan's number for a reason. The team, the culture, the club, the people he's around, that all means something to him. And I don't think he's in the greatest hurry to get out of MLS. Like, I'm sure he wants to play in Europe eventually. Most players do, and it's totally understandable. But it doesn't seem like he's got one foot out the door. Like, he wasn't playing like it this weekend. You know, this isn't Fabian Castillo 2016 type of stuff. This is like he's out there being the best player on the field in like high-level MLS games. So I imagine that it's going to be like a constant dialogue between him, his family, his people, and then FC Dallas, the Hunts, you know, all the way to Luchi Gonzalez. I would expect, hopefully, he is one of the centerpieces of the Olympic qualifying team. Olympic qualifiers are in October of this year, and usually European teams do not release players. So it tends to be a heavily domestic squad. So you won't probably see Tyler Adams or Weston McKennie or Christian Pulisic. This could be Paxton Pomakal's team. The U.S. makes the Olympics. The U.S. does well at the Olympics. Then maybe FC Dallas is coming up to European clubs doing a little bit of this because, frankly, Paxton Pomakal's good enough.
It's hard to know when the time is to move because at some point the next step in his development might be actually leaving Dallas just from a personal, professional standpoint as well, and getting out of that comfortable environment where he's now being able to grow into and feel comfortable. Has been a big part of his success is the FC Dallas system, Luchi, a lot of the people that are bringing him on and giving him this confidence. But at some point, that next step is waiting, and getting away from that, getting to have your family around all the time, getting to have your friends that you grew up playing youth soccer with now balling for the first team, and getting out of that. So I think that point will come for him when it comes. Like you said, that's got to be a conversation.
I mean, we got three more transfer windows of him as a 20-year-old.
Yeah. And
Like,
I would say
he's still super young.
And what you said about him being from there and the club culture and all that stuff, I think is definitely a factor. And I was just making sure, so I was looking at Kellen Acosta came through, and that's the fear, I think, if I'm a fan, is like you don't want him to stagnate. But that was about 5 years into his pro career that point hit for Kellen Acosta. You're a year into Pomakal's at the MLS level. So I think you have more time. And so I don't think you need to rush, and it's going to come down to the name and what the deal looks like. If I was communicating with him, I'd say I wouldn't just go to Europe to go to Europe. Obviously, if Atletico Madrid comes in, that's a different conversation. Like when you're talking about what status of that club is and how often opportunities like that come along. But otherwise, I think the way Doyle laid it out, I'm still torn on whether he should go with the Olympic qualifying team because I just want to see him get a try with the first team. I don't want to waste more time. Like if he can play at the first team national team level, then let's get him into a camp.
1,000% rather have him be the central, like the focal point of the U23s in these high-level, meaningful games to get us to the Olympics than have him be the 12th man for the U.S.
Why is he the 12th man?
Fine. Then even have him be a starter for the U.S. in Nations League game against Cuba and Canada. We got to make the Olympics. We have to make the Olympics. Paxton Pomacall's a big part of that.
So Cerrillo, Servania, Paxton, that is the stuff of dreams for clubs like FC Dallas and for Lucci, who brought all these guys through the academy, for them all to come up and start to perform. Servania in the Open Cup scored one of the best goals in that tournament so far. Cerrillo, of course, walked into the starting lineup earlier this year, has locked it down, and now Paxton's back.
And Pepe.
Yeah, and Pepe signed, got in.
Your guy Brian Reynolds?
That will never leave me. 22 under 22 legend. He's going to come good. I'm telling you that right now. So
we
talked about it from Paxton's point of view, but from Dallas's point of view, like Dan Hunt has to just be like jumping up and down, like boom, investment in the academy paying off.
Yeah. I mean, and we saw it the other, like literally on Saturday night, FC Dallas used 7 academy kids, including all the ones you named. Ferreira, Jesse Gonzalez is still starting at goalkeeper. And then Kellen Acosta played for Colorado. Victor Ulloa played for FC Cincinnati. And then 2 academy products played for for the U.S. national team. Like this is they had a full 11 out there of guys who have been through the FC Dallas Academy, and you feel like with this group, there's a bunch of them who over the next 4 to 10 transfer windows are probably going to be sold on for big money. And this is all happening at the same time that their U18 team or U19 team is into the quarterfinals of the DA Cup.
And on top of that, while that was happening, North Texas had a game, and Michel started at central midfield.
Yeah, that was awesome. He's an assistant coach.
Yeah.
All those kids
so
were gone, and
that.
Michel's like, I'm good, bro. I got 90 in me right now.
He's like, if anyone goes down, I'm serving a set piece.
Yeah.
I promise you I got
I'll whip
that.
it in.
Yeah.
Get that left foot out. Dust off.
But there's more pieces in that North Texas group that's coming through that I know FC Dallas is really excited about, especially along the back line. Both fullbacks, a potential center back in Nico Carrera, like a lot of guys.
I like Nico Carrera.
Yeah,
and his citizenship is just about to come through. So we could probably see him with the US U17s at the World Cup this
Could we
fall.
get Ferreras for the U23s?
that'd be nice.
It's weird. I thought his citizenship already came through, but he's, from everything, like the U.S. Soccer has actually had him into camps. So that suggests that it's just a paperwork thing. Hopefully he'll be part of the 23 pools.
We'll talk about paperwork here in a second on the international level because apparently Danilo Acosta's paperwork for Honduras either never came, didn't happen, or he refused to sign it. That's why he's not playing with the Catrachos and the Gold Cup. We'll get to that in a second, including the U.S.'s big win against Trinidad and Tobago. More from this weekend, though. The Portland Timbers at home. This is what they figure they'll be doing the rest of the year, although let's just be honest, Houston were a little bit knocked down by Gold Cup absences. 4-0 Timbers. Brian Fernandez with another goal. Vancouver and Colorado played to a 2-2 draw. Colorado got to be kicking themselves. Yordi Reyna with the beautiful free kick to get the points for the Whitecaps. That was a big road result potentially. Still a draw is good. Galaxy 2, Cincinnati nothing. Chicago 1, Real Salt Lake 1. I want to talk about Galaxy Cincy, but not necessarily the game on the field. It's kind of the way Zlatan does it. Sebastian Lletget is back. Apparently he's healthy now. After this game, this win for LA, he said this about Zlatan, and I cannot do this justice in my voice, but we'll try. Yeah, I mean, he's an interesting character, Lletget said, but obviously he's got to get his goals and stuff like that. He's talking about some of the, consternation, let's call it, from Zlatan when he doesn't get service or things don't go his way. We're all happy for the win, but he's an emotional guy, and he seems to show it a bit too much at times, but that's him. I can't do that justice. There was annoyance from Sebastian Lletget, Doyle, and I would never have found this had it not been in your column, which remains the Monday remains the Monday must read. Can I plug the movement here? Anything you have on the Galaxy, Zlatan, Lletget?
No, we'll hold him.
Okay, cool.
Soon, though.
What'd you make of that, Doyle?
I think it's something. I really do, because Zlatan was, even by his standards, he was out of control in this game. Like, if you have ESPN Plus subscription, go back and watch the the Galaxy versus Cincinnati game, or just like at least download the MLS app and watch the MLS in 15.
Smooth, right? Yeah, well done.
A double plug.
He was he was
About to overload.
it wasn't just like angry about a pass going in the wrong direction. It was like if the pass wasn't to his foot, he was not gonna move for it. He was like dapping up the Cincinnati goalkeeper. He was like throwing his hands in the air, like doing all the Zlatan stuff except cranked up to 11 towards his teammates. It's like you're winning 2-0 inside of 15 minutes, man.
Yeah,
Like,
but the people in Cincinnati paid for Zlatan, and they're going
They
to
got
get Zlatan.
Zlatan.
You ever been on a team, Kalen, with somebody who's awful demonstrative, and maybe that gets on people's nerves?
There was a gentleman by the name of Cuauhtemoc Blanco.
I didn't see that coming. Curveball of the day.
Whoa.
This is nothing. I hate to break it to you guys. This is literally nothing. Zlatan does this every game.
Yeah, he does.
He actually, I watch him. He doesn't pass to certain players. There are certain players he just doesn't use. No.
No, I've seen it.
Wait.
He's like holding the ball up. Guys running his
Every
space on the
bad
flank,
cross.
and he's like,
Every bad cross is the end of the world.
Yeah.
He wants to score. That's the guy you want. That's what you want on your team. And Sebastian Lletget, yeah, he said, I think he was just honest, but they don't. That's not a problem because what are the stats? What's Zlatan's stats this year?
good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Goals.
Got goals.
You want your striker hungry. You want a number 9 who scores like that. That's who is just devastated. Joseph Martinez. He may not show it as much, but he feels the same, and he's just as frustrated when that service isn't there.
He does show it sometimes. Maybe
He
not
does.
in,
Not like
relation
Zlatan.
to his teammates all the time.
Well, the eyes
but there
aren't
is, like,
always, yeah.
he hides it a little bit better.
Yeah,
He
the
hides it
eyes
better.
aren't always on Zlatan. the same
Can
way.
I read you this tweet from a Cincinnati fan who was there?
Yeah.
I was there Saturday, and it was strange. It was a strange experience to say the least. They won, and we're struggling mightily in our first season, no question. But hating on his team, throwing himself on the turf, loving on our goalkeeper, applauding our fullback, then storming off at the end.
Epic.
That's strange.
Love it.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah, I
Love
mean,
it.
We're talking about it, right?
Entertainment.
Had that not happened, we might. Not
We
talk
wouldn't.
about
We
this
wouldn't
game.
be talking about it if Sebastian like.
Good
if,
point.
If nobody on the Galaxy had said anything, we would have been like, all right,
Well, it wasn't
Zlatan being Zlatan.
unsolicited. He was asked by a reporter.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
He looked visibly frustrated. That was the question.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he answers the question honestly, saying, "Oh yeah, that's
and
just
that's
how
what
he
we
is.
want. That's what we want.
That's how he is. Yeah.
Like, there's no fault to Sebastian Lletget. The one thing I will say,
Doyle, you're wrong, by the way.
What?
BB's Zlatan radar goes off. It doesn't matter how small a blip it is. It's high frequency.
Yeah. I was like, go on ESPN Plus. This is going to be all over our site. This is going to be a super cut of every reaction
well,
possible.
I did just
Surprised we don't
I did
have that
just
yet.
file a think piece. We're going to cut this segment right out and get it right to the front
Put it
page
on.
of MLSsoccer.com. Dave is on that, no doubt about it. I don't think Andrew Wooten is going to do a lot of that with the Union. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Andrew Wooten doesn't feel like that guy. You may know him from, was it one call-up with the U.S.?
Yeah, he had one call-up in 2015.
Yeah, 17 goals for Sandhausen in 2 Bundesliga.
Best season of his career.
Yep, got rolling late in the year as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you really want to sign guys. That's when they're affordable.
Bam. So, yeah, I mean, is this a good signing? Corey Blake stuck back in Jamaica. That's a bummer. Kasper Schmelko has had some good moments, but we talk on this show all the time about that. They don't have the goal scorer, consistent goal scorer that maybe they need to take a step forward.
Yeah, so now they have 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if they're going to do it by committee, this is like Soviet Union-esque.
yeah. Well, this,
The scoring Politburo is very filled out.
yeah. No field player all-star and top of the table in the East. So I think that is sort of indicative of what their season has been. Is they've done it by committee. Now I would put Alejandro Bedoya. I don't know if we mentioned him.
We didn't as a snub.
on
no.
the snubs, but
Ilsinho, I will say for Bobby as well.
yeah.
Also,
Well,
if
he's
Montero had been here to start the year.
every
I'll
day
say
is an
I'll
all-star
say
game for
Madunian.
Ilsinho.
Why is Ilsinho not on the All-Star team? Like, if this is just pure entertainment, if we're just strictly doing this to have
No,
Skills
it's
check.
not. Everyone there
is.
earned their spots for their play in 2019.
So did Ilsinho. You could put him there.
I blame the fans for not playing with him enough in FIFA.
Yeah, I agree with that. Too many goals with Zlatan. He was the EA Sports representative. Nobody has any big Andrew Wooten takes?
No.
No? Is it not worthy of
I mean,
the big take?
I've seen him play maybe a dozen times. He's strictly an inside the 18 guy. He doesn't do a lot of hold-up play. He's big, so he can get up there and finish stuff. This was the best season of his career. He's never been a consistent goal scorer before this.
He's 29 years old.
29 years old, so this is probably him at his peak. I think it's fair to remain skeptical. The big question, and I've never watched him enough to know this, but a few of the folks I talked to in Germany are like, he's actually not a good pressing forward. He like doesn't have great defensive instincts or defensive work rate, is what they've said. So I do wonder if that could end up being, difficult to break into this Philly lineup, because this Philly lineup on talent isn't the best. They have to win as a unit on both sides of the ball. So
They got some options. We'll see when and if Corey comes back from Jamaica. That will give them another option. He scored some big goals for them last year and to start the season as well. Some other news around Major League Soccer here. New York City FC official have signed Scottish winger Gary Mackay-Steven. I can't do
terrible.
yeah, I didn't even try. I started and then I backed off it. His contract expired with Aberdeen. So he's 28. He had 4 goals, 2 assists in 19-20 Scottish Premier League appearances this season. Wow. Has played in the past for Celtic. Then moved on to Aberdeen. They're saying he's
Dundee legend.
He is. He can play on both wings. Ooh. They say things like 1v1 in their press release.
Can't wait to watch him.
We will see what happens with Gary Mackay-Steven. Per Christian Dyer, Alan Pardew.
Wait a minute. What does that mean for Jesus Molina?
Medina?
Medina.
Yeah, you can't even remember his last name right now because he's not playing. He's not playing.
Played in like months.
That's the DP that's just languishing on the bench.
Is he going to be another Josue Coleman story?
Yeah, he scored 2 against North Carolina FC. He's a USL Championship All-Star potential.
And now we've forgotten about the Open Cup.
I actually like Medina. I thought he was pretty good.
I think they're all pretty good, but right now he's behind 2 other guys who are better, and Mitrita and his.
I agree with that. I just thought you were dunking on him, telling me that he's a USL lifer.
Sorry, have you seen Jamaica at the Gold Cup? That's not a bad thing.
Per Christian Dyer, Alan Pardew, Tab Ramos favorites for this FC Cincy job. Also, Aitor Karanka could be in the running for that one.
Let's go to Kalen on this one. Kalen's been workshopping a comparison.
What'd you come up with? Did you finish
I
that
got
off?
nothing. Yeah, I came up with nothing.
I shared an elevator with Alan Pardew once in Kansas City, of all places.
This is the analysis that we come to the show.
Was that Newcastle or was he with Sunderland at the time?
How are you asking us?
I don't know.
You were in the elevator.
I don't know. It wasn't obvious from the elevator.
Tab Ramos seems
Middlesbrough, maybe?
sense.
It might have been Middlesbrough. Yeah.
Tab, has done a great job. I feel like he would fit the profile of that club perfectly to be able to get that group of players, hopefully bring some young players along into the team. Someone they could really build with over time, understands the system here, understands MLS, U.S. system. He's got a ton of experience. You're waiting for sort of the right fit. This one feels like it to me.
It's close to it. Absolutely. Closer than Alan Pardew. I just don't understand, what?
Well, as Dave would tell you.
So Crystal Palace played a friendly there, and I think outside of that, the 2 clubs had a connection. Mm-hmm. And so I think he has a relationship with the ownership group. So therefore, to be totally serious, they know who he is. And he'll take the call. So now he's a name who's a rumor to be. It's as much as Anthony Hudson coaching in the Premier League. Someone's got to get connected somehow. You never know how it works.
They've been looking at Ignacio Abate as well in the summer transfer window.
Got to be in the right elevator, I guess.
I'm now thinking that I was lucky in that.
Did you workshop that one? That one just came
right off the top of the head. There's a lot of controversies with Alan Pardew in which he headbutts people and pushes referees.
He's very demonstrative on the sideline. He also dances sometimes when they score.
Very memeable.
Yeah.
Do you think that this job would have been as good for Tab Ramos before Gerard Dienkamp came in and took over sort of the general manager role? Because before that, I thought that most of the rumblings I was hearing was that the academy and youth development was kind of not going to be their thing.
And now they're it's going to be our thing.
Right. It kind of has to be when you bring in, the Dutch guy. That's
Pek Swol.
No, it definitely
seems like it's a better fit now for very obvious reasons.
Just signing Niekamp, given his background, suggests that they're going to lean heavily into that type of identity, maybe RSL or FC Dallas style thing, which I think in the long run is good for a guy like Tab, who clearly is good at working with young players, and I think would relish the opportunity to be an MLS head coach.
It's also not his job to then build it all.
Right.
Right. If you come in as Tab Ramos 4 months ago, everything's on your shoulders. And now every conversation with ownership about the academy and what it means and how you build it, that's now 100% your job on top of coaching the team and player recruitment. So I think it makes it a more appealing job because for your first MLS head coaching job, you're not going to be Peter Vermees. Like, you're not going to step in and take all responsibilities and build an MLS Cup contender. And I think this is an easier transition for Tab Ramos. Plus, no expectations.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's not a whole lot of expectations on it right now.
They're getting about 18 months from me to like we gotta see something from them at the start of the 2021 season.
Well,
We got a year and a half mulligan
No
at this point.
expectations. Yeah, like 2021.
No,
That's forever.
Yeah,
All right.
good segue, guys.
Yeah.
Weeby's mind is blown by the
yeah.
concept
Yeah,
of
well, I'm just like,
time.
yeah,
right?
I was supporting his point.
I was
To
like,
be
you're going-
fair to him,
you're getting 18 months. Like, wow, that's incredible. Atletico Madrid right back. Juan Fran, he might
a
have
USA
18 months left. He's 34. Nashville SC might want him. Julian Carranza linked with Miami from Bonfield. He's a 19-year-old.
Also, can I just throw out there, if
Any
they
other
sign
good
Juan
rumors?
Fran, you shouldn't sign Juan Fran for DP money, maybe not even TAM money. Now, if they did either of those things, I would be pretty juiced. Juan Fran is Atletico Madrid legend and just a soccer legend in general. Please continue.
Yeah.
did we talk about Grazo? You asked.
We
for-
didn't, but it's rumored that he could go to Augsburg, which makes sense in kind of the trajectory of them getting him with Copa America. It just kind of in the midfield they have now.
Ecuador was eliminated, and I think Grazo could have played this weekend. And the fact that he didn't is maybe a tell in terms of what his future is, and it's probably not with FC Dallas. So it makes sense. They got him at 21, 22. They coached him up for 3 years, gave him 10,000 minutes, and now he's an international caliber player, ready to move back to Germany and give it another. It's like exactly like the Zach Steffen thing. It's exactly like, and I think it was good business from Dallas. I think it was smart. And if he is gone, good luck to Carlos Grazo.
Jefferson Savarino still in
Yeah.
Copa America. Also interest reportedly in him.
Can
No,
I
there
just
has
say
to be.
this
The
is
wo-
the best Venezuela
Yeah.
team I've ever seen. Easily.
We had this conversation on the show
Did you
2 weeks
see-
ago
did you
with the
see
USA
Joseph-
game.
Did you see Joseph Martinez's goal?
Yeah.
Are you
It was
kidding?
classic
That header
Joseph.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like, where is the power coming from in any of those
And
body
how does
motions?
his
Did you not
neck?
see the goal?
How does his
Oh,
neck
yeah.
actually contort that way?
It's like
to
left
bring
side of the
that
goal.
ball
He
from
heads
like
it back to the
literally.
other side.
I don't think he's in front of the goal at the point where he heads it.
No.
Oh,
To bring it back off the back
MLSsoccer.com
post.
just spamming you
Oy.
right here.
Unbelievable. Reddit is your source for this. I
It
watched
was-
this. Thank you, MLS Reddit, as I was prepping for this
It was like a pool shot. It was like
Yeah.
this perfect angle. They're a lot of fun. The Savarino rumor is very interesting.
West Ham and Newcastle, I believe, were
The Newcastle part of it is the interesting part to me because Newcastle are not a big spending club. Miguel Almiron this past winter
Record.
was their record
Yeah.
signing, and which is a small record signing for a relatively big, just in terms of outlay, for a relatively big club in England. And they like to bargain shop, and that includes with managers because Rafa Benitez is gone.
But didn't they just change ownership?
I think it's still Mike Ashley.
No, I think
I'm not
they're
a-
changing owner.
Well, that just means they're not gonna splash out for a big signing. So if they can get a guy like Savarino, who we all know is super talented and has been productive for club and country, at like $6-7 million, and then turn him into something significantly like that makes sense. Like just like Atlanta getting Almiron for $8 million when they did made a ton of sense, sporting wise and business wise. So I mean, I like watching Jefferson Savarino. I hope this rumor's true.
I know it
there's
was a little bit ago. Did you guys see the Almiron assist against Argentina?
Yeah.
Oh my.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I mean,
But-
yeah.
But to go to that,
Point A to
there's
point
no
B,
way
man.
you could watch Savarino over the last month and not think he's not an equal quality, maybe, but like he can play at that level.
Yeah.
And he's younger. The question with him, got you, is consistency. And I think what you're seeing with this Venezuelan team is maybe he needs to be at his line of where he's being pushed to get that consistency for a little while. Maybe he's comfortable at RSL, and that's why, because there's 6-week periods where you're like, this is the guy he is.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 more weeks where it's like maybe Bofo and Brooks Lennon or Corey Baird are the starters on the wing. And he's gone in and out of that. And if they can get this run, if RSL can use this run to then move him on, that'd be perfect.
Big winner here. If this is true, if it goes down, Craig Weib will be doing jumping jacks, backflips. He's like, yeah, that worked out, huh? Went and got him from Zulia. Sold him on down the line. Let's talk Gold Cup. Let's talk U.S. national team. 6-0 win against Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, it was a good game. Christian Pulisic went like God mode on him. He said he was planning on doing that after the game. Jordan Morris changed the game. Gyasi Zardes, clapped the trap with some haters, maybe. Same 11 for Greg Berhalter. Wasn't revenge, might have been redemption. What did it mean? Did it matter? Of course, in the moment, it felt good, man. We walked into the Club and Country. That's pre and post game for every single U.S. game. And we were like, oh, let's go. Da-na-na, da-na-na. And then we poured some cold water, but we were juiced. It felt good.
I wouldn't say juice.
I
I want to hear
juiced.
Gasman's because I've heard you guys talk. I want to hear Gasman's in.
It's fun. Like, this is one of the parts of being a fan is it's enjoyable to watch your team play sometimes. And that's what happened on this one. It was a slow start. It wasn't a perfect performance, but once they got rolling, they were dangerous from multiple spots. And I think against Guyana, you didn't see that. It was like, okay, maybe they're going to get something off a set piece. You got that moment of brilliance from Weston and Paul Arriola. But Pulisic wasn't showing up there. Bradley wasn't playing those dangerous balls. Zardes didn't look as comfortable. And then in this game, Bradley came out and was serving in the first half, like playing through balls first time, left and right, and that was fun to watch. And then Weston got comfortable, and he started to create a little bit more, and then Pulisic starts to find his space. So as a fan, I'm not going to throw cold water because it's like once every 2 years I need to enjoy something, and this is that moment. And I thought they handled most of the issues they had. It was, the 60th minute when they were up 1-0, when they gave up what should have been a goal, when Cato plays that switchfield ball. And then right after that, they almost gave up another goal that would have tied it 1-1. And then I thought they reacted well to that. And from there, they moved forward and played well. So I enjoyed watching that game at the minimum. And that's
where I was coming from. Like, analysis aside, that is not a feeling that a U.S. men's national team fan has had in it's a long time. It's just kind of been dour. It's like, either this doesn't matter, we won, but it's Panama in January, or, oh, God, we're getting smoked.
Did this feel better than the friendly win over Mexico last year? I liked that win over Mexico.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this one did though.
But at that time, the program, you were still just kind of like,
what does any
where
of
are we
this
going?
mean?
So
Like,
I think the program aspect of it is what matters here. It's like we all feel like, okay, we saw a glimpse of what Greg Berhalter is trying to build.
Yeah, the system is starting to come together too, and this has been without Josie Altidore. And
Although Josie had his moment.
Yeah,
that was a filthy layoff.
Exactly, and that's the difference in quality that he brings as far as the combination play and the ability to find his teammates. So we haven't even seen it to its fullest, but you're beginning to see how these relationships are forming amongst the team. Paul Arriola and Christian Pulisic have a really good understanding of when one tucks inside, the other one goes outside. They've been able to find each other. Boyd has been fantastic. He had the little dummy to Arriola and then continues in the box. Nick Lima getting forward, understanding how Boyd moves, those two together. He was strong, cuts on his left foot. So you're beginning to, Michael Bradley, seeing these runs in behind, you're beginning to see how these pieces can fit together.
And I appreciate from Berhalter when you see Boyd's skill set to understand the adjustment of, he can be so goal dangerous if he comes infield, so let's get Lima out wide, right? Because this was the idea for whatever, and it's fine. You can have multiple ideas and change things around. That's one of the changes I enjoyed in this game. Lima was starting, when they were in possession, he was along the forward line, all the way on that right wing, and then you watch Boyd, and he's so two-footed, and he's so aggressive around the goal, that why do you want him being the one getting to the end line and cutting it back? And so I thought, and then he starts to link up, and as he floats in and Arriola floats in, then Pulisic can go wherever he wants.
So you know what's weird about the sequence of play that you're describing is, and you're absolutely right about all of it, is so much of it is predicated upon the center forward being able to drop off the line and actually create a little bit. Like, find your winger who's cutting in stride, or cutting inside. Find him in stride, these accurate, perfectly weighted layoffs in order to go ping, 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 and suddenly Boyd is through. Gyasi did a pretty good job of it. He did it, like, he missed a couple, right? He struggled.
Was in the right place every time.
Yes.
The touch wasn't always right.
Correct.
But he was in the right place on every single one.
But the difference is he's not going to do something that surprises you.
Right.
And
which is fine, because we want the surprises from Pulisic and Boyd. But we want certainty from the other
But you can
players.
find it from Josie, too. He has that ability to drop off. He can lean on a guy. He can turn him. If you think he's going to lay it and he cuts, he can turn and run at a guy. He can find a little chip pass in behind. He can just do the simple thing and hold him off.
If you're talking about chemistry, Arriola and Pulisic, but he and Josie that was like his original level up guy, where it was like when those two are on the field, it was natural. It was natural. They're scoring goals, smiling at each other, celebrating together. Like if Josie can get back, and I know we spend a lot of summer tournaments in that sort of like mindset. If he can get back, it's obvious that it's a huge upgrade on Giassi. But you know what? Giassi 3 goals. Congratulations, man. And he's right there. He's also becoming
2 goals.
3.
3
in 2 games.
Took one off his face.
Got it. I thought you meant in this game.
No.
Because he hit that post.
I know.
And had that save. Yeah. And it was like, that was the craziest 30 seconds.
Give that man his hat trick.
Let me ask you guys something. Did you see anything defensively that worries you?
Yeah. Tim Ream still. Individually 1v1 with Tim Ream. Inability to move his hips. And therefore, whenever he's isolated 1v1, it's a danger. And then the understanding, I think, of space out there, of like how to close and how to fill. If this next game, if I could do anything, not because I don't think he deserves to play center back, I'd put Aaron Long out there just to see what it looks like. Because going forward in this game, obviously he scores the 2 goals, but like he has good feet.
Why not put Lima there? He plays there for his club.
Yeah.
And then put Cannon at right back.
It seems like that's not going to... I don't know. It seems like maybe Matt Miazga at center
in the
back.
middle of the tournament, after 2 wins, and the back line finally understanding each other, you're going to take your center back and move him out, and you're going to move your right back and switch him to left.
I do not think you could walk away from this game and say, like, wow, this back line is clicking. No. I don't think that's the reaction.
And it's only going to there's only going to be more talented opponents. It's Panama coming up. They both have 6 points. They're both through. They will face either the winner or second place from Group C, which could be Jamaica, it could be El Salvador, it could be Curacao, it cannot be Honduras. They're already out. But I think the point being, Kalen, is that Tim Ream, respect to him, respect to his career. Is he a guy in a game against, let's say, Jamaica in the semis,
Leon Bailey,
Mexico,
Uriel Antuna?
Like, don't you like if you're building towards that moment? Isn't that going to be potentially a weak spot the whole time? Because if I'm Panama, I'm just looping it up behind Tim Ream anytime the U.S. are pressed up the field.
I mean, we have talked about the left back position in the U.S. pool for a while.
We beat that one.
Yeah. It's an issue, and that's why I don't think he's fully cemented himself. There's the one play where he was a little bit slow to step out, wasn't able to close down that space, and in general, it's kind of stuck in between sometimes for him, whether he's going to be able to step and apply pressure or even defending in the box at times. He didn't step out. Long comes in and gets a touch on the one that gets deflected over on another good chance on goal. So I think Lovitz deserves a chance. I think he deserves a look. I don't think that spot has been locked down by any means. This next game is the best chance, the last chance to try that before you get to the knockout phases. I think you should give him a look.
I don't disagree with that. We focused on personnel. I like the system, the way that Greg Berhalter has played it these 2 games, specifically with Lima pushing so high and wide, which allows Boyd to come inside and at times be like a 4th midfielder, which has overwhelmed teams. It's playing teams that way. It's risky. It's super risky, and it puts a lot of pressure on the front line to be really good defensively. Because if one of those guys gets beat, then suddenly it's just a long diagonal and it's off to the races. And for the most part, Ariel Lizardes and Boyd haven't gotten beat in those situations. They've closed down really well the last game and a half. So I just structurally, it's something. Yeah, it's not just personnel. It's just something you have to keep an eye on going forward.
Talking about Boyd a lot, Besiktas seems to be the destination that the Turkish media are pushing right now.
Who's going to say it?
Yeah, $2 million is what they're saying. They're saying $2 million, and unless somebody goes over that, Guimarães is not going to sell to anybody but Besiktas. $2 million is like what got paid for Pedro Santos. Like, I just want to throw out some of the numbers that MLS teams have paid for players. I'm not saying Tyler Boyd, let's not anoint him just yet, but if you're an MLS team and you're not just at least sniffing?
Based upon the 6 months he just had in Turkey, which is a very good league, and what he's done for the U.S. over the past month, and just the eye test, and the fact that he's 24 years old, and the fact that he doesn't take up a roster spot, you would hope that whoever has his discovery rights, because I assume that's how he would be gotten into the league, right? A discovery claim?
I don't think so, because he's not on that list yet.
He's not an allocation player. Yeah. So then it would.
No, I'm not talking about allocation.
Sorry.
So then it would be discovery.
Yeah. Whoever has that, you have to think that they've opened talks at the very least.
Also, how many goals has Columbus scored in the last 3 months?
Yeah, not many.
So maybe the Pedro Santos comp isn't exactly.
Well, I'm only saying Pedro,
9 goals in 11 games.
I'm only saying Pedro Santos in the sense that they paid millions of dollars for him on a transfer fee.
Price.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's the money. It's not the production from him. It's like, oh God, there's a lot of worse ways to spend $2 million.
Where do you think Boyd would fit in MLS? What team do you think could use him the most?
DC United. because I mean they're probably going to.
Areola and Boyd, just put them on.
Yeah,
the
right.
ring.
That's actually a really
I'm
good
down.
point.
Wayne Rooney,
the
little
Red
Lucho?
Bulls, the Red Bulls
Red
actually
Bulls.
they need a little bit of sauce coming off the wing. Derek Etienne probably not that guy. Alex Mouille probably not
dude.
that guy.
Haiti just out here rolling right now. Stop it. You embarrass
I
yourself.
mentioned it. Danilo
I think
Costa
like
playing for Honduras.
yeah.
Yeah, we got. Well,
Go ahead.
yeah,
No,
why
go
not?
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get back to this
I wouldn't
Boyd thing.
mind
Let us
seeing him
know
in
if you
Houston.
want Boyd for your team. Holler at us. Get in the comments here on YouTube or hit us up 401-206-0MLS. Do you have any news on that, Danilo Costa? It's just a
What
paperwork
I've
deal?
been told by someone who is in the know with Honduran whatevers is that the federation didn't process the paperwork. So Danilo Costa's been in camp for the last 3 weeks.
probably not getting that
And
bread.
so
huh?
now at this point, he's frustrated and his family's mad because Honduras basically just screwed him over. And so therefore, one, I don't know that the paperwork exists to be signed at this moment. And on top of that, he's gotten a little window into what it will be like to be a Honduran national team player. And also, I think he could have played in Open Cup games where I think you get paid, additional to what your salary is. He could have been with his club trying to earn playing time. Like many things he could have been doing besides traveling around as a
Wait, you get paid
Honduras
to play in Open Cup games?
I don't know. Do you not?
I never did.
No, I don't know.
better
If you
go
win
talk
the
to your-
Open Cup,
Yeah.
better go talk to your accountant.
you win the Open Cup, you get a little
Yeah.
coin. Yeah, I think they actually upped that. Let's go.
Kayla might throw it back on.
No.
Before we get out of here, we do have to talk Canada. Jonathan David now has 5 goals. He's a Golden Boot leader in the Gold Cup. Lucas Cavallini
Why do you
has
say
4.
it like that? Before we get out of here,
Yeah.
we do have to
Right?
talk Canada.
Well, because I'm just trying to it's my attempt to shut you guys up at
Oh,
times.
okay.
Yeah, so why don't you
And
just
then
say,
of course, yeah.
hey, you know
Hey,
who else is
shut
really
up.
good at soccer?
Yeah, no, they're
Canada.
great. They dropped the touchdown on Cuba.
Shut up
7-0.
is always a good transition.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like that was gonna. I was like, hey, but we do have to talk about.
We don't use those words in Andrew's Friends.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Andrew's Friends being an inside joke. That's what my
Didn't we talk about it on this
Didn't we?
show?
My elementary school classes.
The
It
outside
was. It wasn't like Mrs. Smith's class. It was.
Hey,
Ger-
hey,
it was
hey, hey,
Geraldine's
hey, hey!
friends.
Shut up. Let's talk about
Okay,
Canada.
fair,
Go ahead,
fair,
David.
fair.
You're
What
dying.
do you think?
What is
What do you
going
think?
on right now?
Like they knocked off Cuba.
Wichita.
Cuba, yeah, it's a weird place. Pretty hippy dippy at the time. Yeah, look, they're just trying to figure out who they're going to face: Costa Rica or Haiti in the quarterfinals, and then you would assume it is Mexico on the other side, who will get either one of those two as well.
I don't know that you should assume that.
Well, that's true. Martinique came within a goal of tying. Looked pretty good.
We'll get back to Mexico for this Canada team. Whoever it is, I don't think they're going to play scared. We've seen Canadian teams in the past come out and kind of like bunker up, be all defense and then like throw D-Row out there and hope that he can conjure something out of thin air. That's the opposite of what this Canadian team is. Their attackers are as good as anybody in this tournament right now. Jonathan David is a revelation. Cavallini is fantastic. Like he would be starting for the
Yeah,
US.
I think it's the best group in the tournament.
Yeah. And the question is, do they have to win a tournament? You usually need that one transcendent guy who can. For years it was either Landon or Deuce for us. Obviously, Blanco did it a million times for Mexico. Chicharito's done it. Vela's done. You need that, and I think that Davies, and I think that Jonathan David, and I think that Cavallini can all get there.
Do you think he's on the field though?
That's the question.
I
Herdman
think
is a.
I think it's not just. I don't think it's on Herdman. I think it's a tough decision to say going into. Let's say it's Costa Rica, right? In the next game, the idea that you're going to play. Okay, you have basically 2 options of how you want to play. Cavallini's his size, his ability to hold the ball up, and he's a great finisher, or David Speed at center forward. And then if he's not at center forward, then you're probably going to push David out wide, which means is Hoylett on the field? Is Alphonso Davies playing left back? Is Mark Anthony Kaye healthy? There's a lot. It's very exciting for Canada that there are a lot of decisions to be made, but it's still not an easy one.
I could be wrong, just from watching the behind-the-scenes highlights from their pre-Gold Cup friendly against Trinidad and Tobago, but they did try basically the Cavallini at center forward, then at left, Jonathan David, then Alphonso Davies overlapping, Hoylett, and then Arfield. Arfield scored 2 goals in that game. He's kind of the forgotten man. He's real good too.
Yeah, and then is it Tiba Hutchinson a center mid? Is he a center back? So I was talking to Canada fans today that I'm friends with, and I felt bad being like, it's awesome, but it's Cuba. Like he kind of, and for Canada, that's not always been true. So that's great.
But that's a step, right?
Yeah,
And
100%.
And that's why for every game from here on out, if Canada wins, it's a great win. it is a program enhancing win.
Really? The expectations, I think, are higher than that. Just if they get one win and then are out to Mexico, that doesn't really do much for me. I think they have to go further than that.
It depends on how they play against Mexico, though. If it's like, when is this team? This is a team that went to 2 straight Gold Cups not that long ago. I mean, 13 and 15, and didn't get a point, didn't score a goal.
Yeah, but that doesn't even feel
time,
like the same.
Yeah, I know it's a different time.
Yeah.
I get that, but that's the baggage that they have.
I to the point on decisions and personnel, David's got to play. I think he is a guy that is going to cause Mexico. If they get against Mexico, I think he can cause them a lot of problems with his pace. That's the one thing that I think separates this Canada team is just how dynamic they are going forward. When they get numbers forward, especially on the wits, Alphonso Davies. Holy wow.
Yeah.
Watching him play again has been a real joy through this tournament already. But David being able to even just pressuring, creating the one goal he gets.
Who is Mexico?
Yeah, it's pressure. His ability to pressure and turn them around, that's when Mexico gets uncomfortable.
Mexico, what was the issue against Martinique?
Intensity. They won the first 2 games. They were into the quarterfinals. I mean, they had to fight to win against Canada, but I thought they were clearly the better team for that 90 minutes. And I think they just took their foot off the gas a little bit against a Martinique team that has a bunch of S2 Sounders legends.
Get Kevin Parseman in a first division. Let's go. He got unlucky.
Oh, he
Pretty
did.
sure he's like 32 years old.
Yeah, he's 31, 32.
This
But
is
like
his last chance, Dave.
Like when the
Don't take it away
Sounders
from him.
the Sounders signed him, they thought like he was gonna be their backup behind Clint and Oba, and then like the first day of training, he blew out his ACL, and that was it for him. But I don't. I'm not.
Jordy Delem's your backup forward.
Yeah, Jordy Delem got a goal as well. I think. Well, Aaron Long was on that S2 team in like 2015 as well. So like,
whoa,
that's
Big
where you
Gold
want to
Cup
go.
day.
5 degrees of Aaron Long.
No,
Let's figure this out.
But honestly, I don't read too much into this from Mexico. I still think they're the best team in this tournament.
Okay, let's get to the mailbag. Gold Cup rolls on. Of course, MLS is back this week, but we'll be here on Thursday to talk all about it. 401-206-0MLS. Extra time at MLSsoccer.com or get in the YouTube comments section. As a friendly reminder that we are on YouTube now. You can watch us there if you would like. What do we got?
Ryan from Juarez says, I know after the third goal, TNT fell apart and the game was all kinds of open, but I'm excited about the smorgasbord of attacking options that we saw. Berhalter called it diversity. Tyler Boyd 1v1. McKennie unlocking passes. Pulisic running with the ball. Which one can we expect to count on and see when it's all on the line?
Christian.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Pretty easy.
I mean, he's the best. He's the best player.
Well, and what he does, that works against anybody. I mean, that's why he's going to Chelsea. It's the ability to be direct and to just glide by guys at pace, under control with the ball. From there, the unpredictability to be able to either slip a pass to Josie, throw a step over, get to the right. I mean, he can finish. He can really do it all. And the combination, I can't remember if it was you, Doyle, but somebody was saying that it was like Clint Dempsey's trickery and skill.
That was me.
Added with Landon Donovan's pace. And that's the kind of presentation or package that he has going that's different than anybody else in our player pool.
Would you say you're the men's league Christian Pulisic?
I'm like the old Neymar. That's me. Like old Neymar, like still trying stuff, but like liable to, no offense to the crutches,
okay.
I know, but like I'm just been able to avoid that. But it's like it shows enough to be like, oh man, that guy had a. I'm 36 years old. I do wear the Neymar boots too, so it's like it's true to form, true to life.
You know what I heard? Just through sources and whatnot, that if I want to avoid ankle injuries in the past, I want to cultivate mass in my lower half, I should eat mostly double cheeseburgers, chicken nuggets, and other such fine fast food fare. Can you confirm or deny these rumors?
Yes, this is, wow. I was not expecting this. But when I was playing for the Fire, they asked me to try and put on some weight. And it was impossible for me to I'd done my ACL and we're trying to get in the gym a little bit. And they sent me to go see a nutritionist. The nutritionist told me to go to Wendy's in Bridgeview on the way home every day after training.
Don't have to tell me twice.
And I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding me?
Weeby's like,
she was like,
health sanctioned
It's
Wendy's.
like, how many packets of honey mustard can I just drink?
No, she
all
said,
of this
can you add sauce? That will help.
Yeah, dude, empty
add sauce to
calories.
it and a Frosty. So I was eating a Frosty and nuggets, and then I would go home and eat a second. That was just like as a
as a snack?
Yeah, just like a regen.
This sounds
meal.
like college to me.
I have a friend who did a
Boy.
workout you should have tried. You put a black garbage bag of chimichangas and you just carry them around. Chimichangas, you just carry them around with you and you just eat those.
Oh,
Yeah.
a black garbage bag.
Yeah.
That's a nasty smelling
You
garbage
know who
bag.
else was on that diet on my
Who?
team?
Who?
Guatemala Blanco?
Neri Castillo. I feel bad.
Except Neri would finish it off with a Newport.
Oh boy.
No, that lasted about a week, and then that was it for me. But I think the damage is done.
did put on the weight, so I'll let you know how it works for me.
Oh, poor Caleb.
I'll let you I'll go through the drive-thru on the way home. Let you know. Anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, so someone wanted to respond to specific doubters about the U.S. national team, specifically an artist formerly known as Bird Dog. We can wonder who
Wow.
this is, who's basically saying there's no depth in the player pool, and he wants to give some alternate 11s that he think would still have a shot at getting to a Gold Cup final. I'll give you the first one, which is Sargent up top, Weah, Lyndon Gooch, Holmes, Jonathan
Lyndon
Amon.
Gooch. No. He plays in a pub league.
I'm not going to finish, then you're good. You want to keep going?
Adams?
No, go ahead.
Adams, Robinson, Brooks, CCV, Yedlin, and Horvath. An all-MLS team is Dwyer, Corey Baird, Pomykal, Leggett, Mueller, Knaus, Villafaña, Robinson, Trusty, Keegan Rosenberry, and Tim Amelia. Do either of those teams you think could make it to a Gold Cup final based on the way the bracket
first
is?
team has a little bit more talent, I think, but it also is just completely ramshackle. There's all sorts of different positioning in here. I mean,
Well,
I
Lyndon
guess
Gooch
it
is
works.
there, so you're going to get a lot of
Adams, Amon.
bite.
So yeah, you do have some.
Sub Pomykal in for Gooch in that first team, and you got something. You got an argument, but you don't get there with 11 guys. You get there with 23.
Boom. Wow.
Okay. We'll see if
Take
the
it
U.S.
one
can
game
get
at
there.
a time,
Canada
Doyle.
trying to do their thing too. Mexico as well. The Gold Cup rolls on. MLS is back, and it's a beautiful thing.
I just want to inspire Canada real quick. Austin and Fort Worth says everyone keeps including talking about Canada playing Mexico in the semis. I'm sorry, but there's 1,000% chance they'll lose in the quarterfinals to continue the pattern of
Wow.
Boo.
do it for them. Ashley
Boo.
Lawrence right now.
You heard that, Canada. You got doubters out there. We're
Canada
getting out
tied
of here.
0-0 right now with Sweden.
Yep. And the Women's
Almost.
World Cup. Lots of soccer this summer. Give thanks, everybody. Matt Doyle, Dave Goss, Kalen Carr. Thanks, guys. Gonna hit the drive-thru. I'll be right back. See ya Thursday.
Sorry, Neri.